Hey guys, it's Dami. We're gonna do a real quick video on what smudging is. In the very beginning, when I started getting into spiritism, I didn't understand what smudging was, and maybe it was just me. But when I think of smudging, I think of just like here, take this, and like just shove it into something. Who knows? So when I was told, oh well, you need sage for smudging. It didn't dawn, I thought sage, oh, so I'm just gonna, smudge it, push it in there and smudge it. And that was not right. That is not the right answer at all. So, I'm gonna teach you smudging. Or not really teach you because there's not much to teach, but I'm gonna show you what it means. Okay, so what you wanna do when you're getting let's say you're bringing a brand new friend home. Let me just stop touching this because this is my altar and I don't want to keep touching it. Hold on. Okay, this is pretty. Actually, I think I have a bigger one. Okay. We'll use this big Mama Jamma stone so you can see what's going on. This is the appreciated jasper. And now I got this at the zoo, which is kind of like, oh, you bought stones at the zoo. Who does that? I did. It was on sale. Hey. All right. So what you're going to need is some sage. And there's a lot of debate on the different types of sages, or lots of different types of sages. Can I use cooking sage? Does it have to say smudging on it? Intention is powerful. Intention is very powerful. I think, there's two main types of sages. My mom, she uses like a California white sage, which has a very strong scent to it. And I know people who've actually used the herb sage, cooking sage, for the same purpose of smudging. So honestly, I guess it just depends on what ritual you're using it in as, and what your belief system in. And again, as I said, intention is very powerful, and it basically governs all of this. So for all intents and purposes, we're just using smudging sage. It says smudging sage on it. I don't know what brand this was. I personally don't like it. I usually use the California white sage. I feel like it burns nicer. This one I didn't like too much. It takes too long to light. And I don't like the scent. A lot of sages, they smell different. They really do smell different. Like, oh, it's a terrible smell. No, I personally love the smell of sage, but this one, not so much. All right. So anyways, I'm getting off topic. When they tell you, take your crystal home, take your new friend home, in this case, our appreciated jasper, and you want to clear it, charge it, and if you're going to use it for a very specific thing, program it. This is where everyone's like, I don't know what that is. All right, so we're going to do the first thing. We're going to clear it. We're not going to charge it all right now, but because we're not going to do that now. It's not enough time for showing all that. We'll talk about it. Okay, so you can do it different ways. You can clear a crystal or a stone different ways. I would recommend, strongly and highly recommend, if you do not have a crystal book about crystals, or a dictionary encyclopedia, I hope you have the internet. Some stones cannot be cleansed the same way as other stones, okay? So for an example is, I have this selenite wand. There are different ways to clear a stone. The first way is smudging. We're going to still do that, okay? The second way is putting your stone into a salt bath. And that can be done with salt alone, sea salt. If you don't have that, I mean, it's preferred, but if you don't have that, then just use regular iodized salt. And the third way is running it through water or adding the salt in the water. Okay, so that's actually 4 ways, or a combination of each. There are other ways, like using a ting sha bell to clear things, but these are the ways that I prefer to do it. Okay, I personally, you can also use palo seco. I have some. Hold on. This stuff smells awesome. Sandalwood. There's lots of different ways to clear your stones. But these are probably just like the main 3 ways, which would be water, salt, and sage. To me, I feel like my sage, I come home every day, so sage is always accessible to me. So what we're going to do is grab our appreciated jasper friend, and we're going to light our sage. And you just want to get it to the point of where it's a good, nice smoke. Okay? And you can pretty much see that. Okay. So what you're going to do with this, now that it's nice and smoky, is you're just going to run. You can probably even get the smoke here. You're going to run this is technically smudging. You're not rubbing the hot coals into your hands or onto the stone. You're just going to go ahead and go all the way around it with the intention of clearing all the energies, negative energies from your stone. Okay? So that's one way to do it. Anytime you're using sage, know that doesn't turn off right away. So you might want to have, I use this abalone shell, I guess. And, you can have it smoking while it's in there. And hold it like that if you want. And do the same effect. Or put your shell down. And in this case, use a feather. And waft the smoke onto your stone. I would not recommend blowing into the sage for multiple reasons. Yeah, that was my sunstone. Sun egg on the ground now. Okay, for multiple reasons. One, there are little embers. I mean, that's the common sense reason. There are little embers in here, and blowing onto the embers are going to make them fly. For the spiritual reason, I have no idea where that egg went. For the spiritual reason would be, it's said, if you blow into the sage, that you're blowing all the negative energy that you have within yourself into the sage, therefore rendering the sage useless, essentially, because you're removing negative energy and you're basically blowing it back in. It's kind of like using those hand dryers in the bathroom in the public restroom. Yeah, they blow way more. You just dirtied your hands twice as much in the public restroom when you use one of those hot hand blowers. If you don't believe me, look it up. Okay, that's one. Okay. Number 2, get yourself a bowl of salt. Put it in there. Let it sit in there. And number 3, the water running, running under running water, preferably, like a river or stream. Or if you live in the middle of this concrete jungle like I do, then you don't have that. So then you're gonna have to settle for good old faucet water, H2O, and run it through there with the intention also of clearing it. Now again, intention is everything, everything. Okay, so now what I was saying earlier was, you can't run all the stones. All stones are not made the same. This is my selenite wand. I cannot put this in water. The selenite wand will come apart and basically dissolve. So when you're clearing things, make sure you are precautious on the type of stone that you have. So if you're buying one from mom and pop shop, make sure, if you don't know, ask them, or make sure it's on the receipt. Or in the beginning, I used to have little stickies. Actually, this one kind of sort of has it still. In the beginning, I had stickies because I had so many stones, I couldn't remember them all. Until you become more familiar with it. And do it that way. This way, for my mom, I made her list. And I just wrote no water or yes water next to it of all her stones that she has. And that way she knows. And I also put the picture of the sun or the moon. That way she knows how they get charged. And that's basically, that was like her little dictionary. Charging your stone is the next part to this. So once your friend is now clear, you want to charge him. Why do you want to charge him? Because you want to, the same way you sleep to revitalize yourself is the same way this stone is. It just went through a very long journey to get to you, to find its perfect partner. And now it's tired. So it needs to be amped up. Now you're going to, again, consult the internet. Internet is your friend, or your book, or whatever you may have, and look to see if you have, how your stone can be charged, night or day. You may have a stone like rose quartz that you don't want to put in the direct sunlight all day because it's going to lose its... You know what? I'm just going to stop touching things. Because it's going to lose its color. Okay? And you don't want that. It's not going to diminish the power of it, but it said that the solidity of the color matters. So just avoid it. Just avoid the hassle. So make sure if you can't charge them in the sun, you charge them in the moon. The side, pre-plan too if you want. Go ahead and find out when the full moon is and use that as your guide, because the full moon is the most powerful time to charge your crystals. Also, do yourself a favor and get yourself a little mirror. And what you're going to do is, I don't have one right here because I think it's downstairs, and it is. Okay, so what you're going to do is just place your mirror. If you're like me, you don't have a backyard and you're in concrete jungle land, just open your window shade, put your crystals on your window ledge, okay? Put your mirror directly underneath your crystal and sit your crystal on it. This way, the mirror is working double duty for you. You're getting your entire crystal revitalized because you have that reflection underneath. And that's how you would charge your stone, daytime or nighttime, you just depending on the stone. So definitely look into that. Programming your stone. So there's multiple ways you can program your stone. You can have, you can Reiki them if you know Reiki, or you can just do it yourself. I would recommend always clearing and charging your stones yourself, because someone may have good intentions for you, but they may have had a bad week, and it's just not as, you don't want to mix energies. So it's better off that you do it yourself, so you don't have anybody else's bad week influencing your stone that you're trying to use for the purposes of your healing. If you're going to be using stones for healing, make sure you clear them in between every person that you're going to be using them for. And when you buy them, always, if I buy for jewelry, I do not ever wear the jewelry right away. I clear them, I charge them, I program them if they're going to be used for a specific thing. And that's how that's like just 100% concrete, and I don't vary from that. Just get into the habit of that. So you're going to hold programming. So you're going to hold your stone in your hand. Let's say there's rose quartz, which is beautiful. I love rose quartz. I use it for a lot of things. You're going to hold it in your hands, and with intention, you're going to ask the crystal if it's all right that they be used for the purpose of XYZ. Now, a stone that is created for one thing, you can't force it to do something else, okay? So like my rose quartz, forgiveness, love, compassion, empathy, etc., etc. I'm not going to sit here and go, rose quartz, I want you to realign my spine. That's what you're going to be used for, because it's not going to be working on that level. You're using this to amplify the frequency that you're already putting into the universe. This is your antenna, essentially. This is your tool. So you're asking, basically, what you're doing when you're programming, you're sharpening your tool so that it works at optimum performance. So with your intention, if you don't know what your stone does, look it up. Usually when I buy a stone, I don't know what it is, but it speaks to me, and I buy it because it's, jumping out, hey, buy me. And I buy it, and then I'm like, oh, I totally needed that right now in my life. And that's how I've acquired every stone. So if you don't know what it is, recommend look it up. See what the attributes are. If you feel like those attributes, or one of them or multiple of them, stick out to you, you can tell your crystal, you know what? I know you're for forgiveness, and I just had my heart broken, and you know what? I just want to move on and forgive that person. This is what I want you to do. Then do that. Okay? Do that. Once you're done with your stones, put them away, because just like you need your personal space, they need their personal space, and they don't want to be hanging around everybody's energy the same way you don't want to be hanging around every stranger that you walk by. So make sure they have a nice little home to be put away into a little black bag, or it doesn't have to be black, but a little suede bag so that they don't scratch. You don't want them grinding up on each other the same way you don't want a stranger grinding up on you. You don't want that. Or a box with a velvet liner. Or you can make one from Michael's and get like a box for $3 and just buy some liner stick it in there. Bam. That's the cheapest way instead of going into like a specialty store for it because they charge you twice as much, especially for those little velvet bags. So I just buy everything at Michael's. Okay. And that is pretty much it on how to charge, clear, charge, and program your stone. If you guys have questions, comments, leave them in the bottom. Love and light to all of you guys, and namaste. I hope this helps you.